A commonplace Coca-Cola can hold the key to unraveling a real-life homicide mystery. This account is genuinely factual from beginning to end, and it's incredibly astonishing. Today, we delve into the murder of Sylvia Quayle, discovered deceased in her residence in 1981. 4 decades of relentless pursuit later, the enigmatic assassin was unearthed. Allow me a brief detour. My channel hosts numerous videos covering crimes and enigmas. If these topics intrigue you and you haven't subscribed yet, rectifying that is as easy as hitting the subscribe button. Many thanks. Now, back to our story. The year was 1981, summertime, in Cherry Hills, Colorado. At that juncture, the population stood at merely 5,000 souls. Among them was Sylvia Quayle. Details regarding Sylvia are sparse, or perhaps just elusive to me. It is established that she was born in September 1946, raised in a well-grounded household by her parents alongside her younger sister Joey. Sylvia was frequently described as a beacon of light, her radiant smile illuminating any space she entered. Her bond with Joey was profoundly affectionate, valuing her above all else. The date was August 3, 1981. Sylvia, then 35, returned home from work that evening, residing solo at the time. Just before 11 p.m., she phoned her sister. While the specifics of their conversation remain undisclosed, it was evidently trouble-free, marked by a positively vibrant exchange as they made plans for the forthcoming day. Post 11 p.m., they exchanged wishes for a restful night, and Sylvia retired to her bedroom. The following morning, her father, adhering to their usual routine, arrived to collect her for their customary morning coffee at the local cafe, a practice they had cherished for years. Upon entering the house, he was met with a sight that shattered his world. Sylvia's lifeless form lay on the living room floor, prompting an immediate call to the authorities. Investigators concluded that during the late hours of August 3rd or early hours of August 4th, Sylvia was assaulted and ultimately suffocated. She bore several injuries suggesting she had been stabbed, and a gunshot wound to the temple was identified as the fatal blow. The police discovered the home's phone line severed, indicating the attack happened sometime after Sylvia's last conversation with her sister. Additionally, evidence pointed toward a forced entry through the bathroom window as the insect screen was found torn off and discarded in the bushes nearby. The community and Sylvia's family were left in disbelief and mourning, united in their desire to apprehend the perpetrator. Yet, despite their determination, the investigation hit a dead end, with no significant leads emerging. The forensic technology available in the 1980s was rudimentary, further complicating efforts to solve the case. As the police and family were at a loss for potential suspects, the chance of solving the case swiftly dwindled to nothing. In response, law enforcement and the medical examiner's office gathered all evidence from the crime scene and stored it in a secure container, hoping future advancements in technology could shed light on the mystery. Thus, the Sylvia Quayle case was shelved for an indefinite period. 2 years on, in late 1983, investigators felt compelled to re-examine the case, hoping to uncover new leads. Interestingly, years before Sylvia's untimely death, Canadian law enforcement had begun employing an advanced forensic method known as alternative light source technology. This technique, reliant on specific wavelengths of light, was designed to reveal previously undetectable evidence. However, its use was restricted to the laboratory due to high costs, bulky equipment, and overall impracticality for fieldwork. By then, portable ultraviolet flashlights had been introduced, although their functionality remained largely confined to a singular spectral range and were not widely implemented in forensic investigations. Nevertheless, investigators opted for this high-end technology in a renewed attempt to crack the case. They discovered that a piece of carpet removed along with the body bore traces of a strange, porous fabric. With no further leads and the limitations of forensic technology at the time, Sylvia's case was once again shelved, awaiting a future where technological advances might finally bring closure. A breakthrough occurred 12 years afterward, in 1995, as technological advancements made DNA analysis more accessible. The carpet from the crime scene was dispatched to the Central Bureau of Investigation for a detailed inspection, aiming to construct a DNA profile of the suspect. By 2000, investigators had successfully generated a comprehensive DNA profile from evidence on the carpet, yet this milestone did not bring them closer to identifying the assailant. The DNA profile found no matches in either statewide or national databases. No equivalent DNA profile existed within their records. However, the intrigue intensified shortly thereafter. Leveraging a pivotal clue from Sylvia's case, investigators uploaded the extracted DNA profile to a pair of genealogy websites, known at the time as Genealogy Tree. These platforms offered users the chance to discover unknown relatives by submitting their DNA samples for analysis, pioneering the field of genetic genealogy. By applying this method to the suspect's DNA, investigators hoped to uncover a connection. Their efforts bore fruit. A genealogical match was identified, albeit within an extensive family tree comprising over 3,000 individuals. Though daunting, this lead was far more promising than searching across the entire nation. Determined to sift through the vast number of potential suspects spread across numerous American states, investigators plunged into exhaustive research. They scoured newspapers, public records, and personal associations, tracing the origins, residences, and affiliations of those linked to the genealogical match. This Herculean investigative effort aimed to methodically narrow down the pool of suspects, marking a significant stride in the relentless pursuit of justice for Sylvia. The list of suspects narrowed dramatically from 3,000 individuals to just one man, identified as David Anderson. Interestingly, Anderson was residing in the vicinity of Colorado back in 1981, the year the murder took place, ruling out the possibility of his involvement being mere coincidence. However, tracking him down proved challenging, as he had since relocated, prompting detectives to make their way to Nebraska, the state directly neighboring Colorado. On the 17th of January 2021, law enforcement officials found themselves at Anderson's doorstep in Nebraska. Exercising caution to avoid tipping their hand prematurely and to ensure the integrity of their investigation, they opted for a discreet approach. Over a span of 2 days, they maintained surveillance from their vehicle, biding their time. Their patience paid off when they observed Anderson disposing of his trash. Seizing the opportunity, they retrieved the garbage bag, discovering 2 beer bottles and a vanilla Coke can among its contents. While the beer bottles yielded no viable leads, the soda can prove to be a goldmine, offering up Anderson's DNA. The samples were promptly analysed, and by the 29th of January 2021, the verdict was in. DNA evidence from the crime scene, specifically a mat from Sylvia's residence, was conclusively matched to the DNA found on the vanilla Coke can. This compelling link all but confirmed Anderson's presence at Sylvia's home on the day she was killed. David Anderson was apprehended on February 10, 2021, at his home in Nebraska. He was subsequently extradited to Colorado, where he faced indictment on multiple felony charges, including murder, cementing a pivotal moment in the long pursuit of justice for Sylvia. This implies his inevitable conviction and likely sentencing to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, despite being over 60 years of age.
I can't imagine, as a father myself, of a young woman about this age, to have a morning.
To faithfully narrate this tale, I omitted an incident from 1983, when Otis Elwood confessed to Sylvia's murder. His acquaintance, Henry Lee, similarly admitted guilt for various offences, but both were eventually found to be innocent of those crimes and were freed. This narrative twist left the case unresolved for 4 decades. One might ponder how long David felt a sense of security. How many years passed before he ceased to glance over his shoulder, haunted by memories of the past? Clearly, the act of murder stirred no remorse within him. Otherwise, he would have confessed long before. Hence, a piece of advice for those concealing deep secrets. Consider the sustainability of your silence. If truths don't emerge now, they might very well surface in the future, as history has demonstrated, even if it takes 40 years. If this story captivated you, don't hesitate to like this video and explore the tale of Yuka Takeoka, also known as the TikToker killer, for another intriguing case. Thank you for tuning in.